Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Red Devils Disciples over here. It's your boy Rob, and we are going to be going through today's game, seeing what happened and sort of analysing it pretty quickly. 7th place Man United, or 7th before the game, against 20th place Sheffield United. Sheffield United, a team who have realistically are going down. Let's be honest, they're going to get relegated. And we're a team that is fighting for European place. Not looking very promising. Not looking like we're going to get a Champions League place at the moment. But there's still twists and turns that could come throughout the season. Or what's left of the season, shall I say? Not necessarily. We're coming to the end of the season. Let's be honest. But at the end of today, we've still got a little bit of hope, tiny hope of chasing a Champions League spot. It all depends on Spurs basically losing against the big teams, essentially. We're going to a little bit more information about that later. But let's start off with how it looked at first. Good start to the game in the first half. Dalot with a very quick chance going to the top corner. Great save by the keeper. We looked dangerous. We had most of the possession. But as being the case most of this year, we found ourselves 1-0 down. Onana. I've said this in the last few videos, and I'll say it again. Onana feels like a liability at the moment. He feels like someone who's going to make a mistake every game, gives a goal away, or doesn't make a save that he should make. And right now, I am more convinced than ever that he is not the right keeper for Manchester United, even though we won today 4-2. And even though sometimes in games he makes great saves, like for example in Coventry, against Coventry, he made a great save in the penalty shootout. But we should never have got to that penalty shootout. I do genuinely believe this is a keeper that was brought with intention to play from the back, and with a team with a much stronger defence, would probably be doing a much better job than Manchester United. Manchester United have had a makeshift defence all season, and quite frankly, it's not something that Naman Dan, hashtag Ten Hag. What's this? What's this fool saying? Manchester equals this guy. Ten Hag out. Oh, is that how we're doing it, yeah? Well, I'm very much Ten Hag in. Anyways, moving on. Back to what I was saying. Oh my god. Yeah, so Onana has a mistake in him every game, and before we knew it, pretty shit pass, let's be honest, down to the left back position, and it was just intercepted by Bogle, the right winger, who took it on. Thank you, Steve, for that. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. And sort of slotted it into the back of the net. Anyways, so moving on from that, at this point, 1-0 down, all you heard in Old Trafford was "you're getting sacked" in the morning being sung. It just rang around Old Trafford, and it felt like, whilst it was Sheffield United fans, we're hearing this every game after game, and it's one of those situations where it's just becoming worrisome. If I was the board, I'd be hearing those and be worried about it, because that's not a good look for Manchester United. We brought it back to 1-1 with Maguire with a good header into the back of net, with Dalot with a great cross. Dalot and Aaron Wan-Bissaka switch sides again this week. It's like every week they play switch sides, but I've noticed it has to do with Garnacho. If Garnacho plays right wing, Dalot plays right back. If Garnacho plays left wing, Dalot plays left back. I've noticed that is what tends to happen on the flip side over. Look, Højlund was getting into the game in the first half. He's controlling the ball better than he was previously, but it's not one of those things where we criticised him last time against Coventry for his first touch, but this time I felt he did much better. But then the second half kicks off, same thing happens again. Start dominating the game, and before we know it, we're 2-1 down again. And this came from an attack down the right wing. Aaron Wan-Bissaka took way too long to close the player down. Ball got played through his legs, by the way. And then when the ball is crossed in, every Manchester United player was out of position. There was no man-to-man marking. It was almost like let's get bodies in the box and hope that it comes to us and clear it, rather than let's chase our runners. And with that, against any decent team, we're going to get found out. We got Arsenal coming up in a few weeks, and that might be vital for us to get a Champions League spot. It might be, it might not. It might be over before then. We're hoping they beat Spurs, let's be honest. yeah, so it was one of those things where Brereton was left by himself, starts into the back of the net. But it's one of those situations where just simple positioning would have stopped that. Not long after that, we got a few chances. We noticed that throughout the game, over the top balls kept being found behind the defence of Sheffield United, but we just weren't making them pay. We got a penalty. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was a soft penalty. The only reason I don't think the penalty was overturned was because prior to the blowing of the whistle, the ball actually ended up in the back of the net and a goal for Man United. That's why. I think that if that ball got hit wide and anything like that, that penalty may have been looked at in more depth. But nevertheless, it was given. It was a foul on Harry Maguire, who was a goal scorer, a threat throughout the whole game. Bruno stepped up, and before he shoots, you know this is going in the back of the net. It's Bruno. We trust him. We feel like he's going to be, he's our captain, and he's our driving force at the moment. If we stand any chance of winning the FA Cup, Bruno has to have a good game. And today, he's definitely showing that he wants to be there and that he wants to sort of, pull everyone up by the fucking boots rather than just limp to the end of the fucking finish line. He's showing that he wants to show that he wants to play for Man United. And don't get it twisted, Bruno is also playing for his contract. Because Bruno is coming, 30, 31? You think they're not looking at younger players to replace him? There's rumours that Cole Palmer all of a sudden isn't happy at Chelsea. Man United fan. You think the board won't be looking at that? I'm just saying. Anyways, game progressed. Man United pushing on, taking control of the game. But we're not clinical. We're not putting the ball into the back of the net. We had so many chances on goal. We should have been up by 3 or 4 goals at this stage. Took to the 67th minute where there was a wicked deflection on a shot off Maguire. And I'll be honest with you, Onana was... Remember Diego Dalot's tackle with Jesus where he sort of slid and just kept going. And Jesus then started to bet. Onana was gone. There was nothing it would have been. It was total wrong side of the goal. But we got lucky and it went out of bounds. But yeah, moving on from there. Ball over the tops. Again, we're there all game until Bruno hit an absolute screamer in the 80th minute from outside the box. Again, coming up with a good second goal of the game. And then not 4 minutes later, Bruno crossed it into Højlund. Højlund with a goal, which I'm glad he got because he had 6 games without a goal, so he's finally got his goal. And we all know that Højlund, or at least previously, when he's got a goal, it starts at some form. In terms of the game, we dominated possession. We had 71.5% possession. We took 21 shots, and they took 10. I still feel like 10 for them is too much. We had 13 shots on target and 4 goals. I feel like we should be scoring more of them, especially the goals that we could have scored. We could have had at least 5 or 6 tonight. And then we had like a higher tackles, aerial duels, and sort of passing percentages than they did. In terms of our starting lineup, we had Onana in goal. I mean, I don't think there's much that we can say about that. Dalot down the left and Aaron Wan-Bissaka down the right. I personally think that's where they play better. And I still vouch for the fact that I would start Garnacho down the left wing. And I would have actually started Diallo down the right, if I'm being honest with you. But our 2 centre-backs were Harry Maguire and our makeshift centre-back, Casemiro. In front of them we had Kobe Mainoo and Christian Eriksen the Ghost, as you can see by the picture. And then we had Garnacho and Anthony on the right wing. Bruno at cam, and then Højlund up front. The only thing I would have changed at this point would probably be I would have started Diallo down the right wing. I think Diallo has proven when he's on the pitch that the whole game you saw him, or the whole second half, should I say, you saw him trying to make runs in behind. He was always, and no one played it over the top. The kid's got pace. You got to exploit it. Moving on to individual players, we've got Onana. I've given him a 5.5 today. I said it in the last video. I said it in the video before. He's got a mistake in him. Today, he passed it straight to the right winger. And we saw the best and the worst of Onana today in terms of his passing. Then his ball over the top to Højlund from the back sort of left Højlund in a one-on-one. But what the issue with Onana is that he's not consistent enough. And every game he either should be saving a goal that's let in, or he gives a goal and makes an error. So it's a bit of a tough one. I know they're probably going to give him another year and make a decision, but personally I would
not give him another year. I'd sign some competition or sign a younger goalkeeper that you think is going to be his long-term replacement, and already have them fired out. You know, another way that you could go is someone like Martinez at Villa. Yes, he's 31. Yes, I get it, but he's twice the keeper that Onana is, in my opinion. Wouldn't cost you that much. You'd probably get him for 30 million. You know, and is someone that you may want to look at if you want someone with experience fighting it out with Onana next year. You don't want to spend over the top. Left back, we had Diego Dalot given a 6.5 today. He had a good assist from Maguire. Got in some really good positions, opening up. Nothing really came down his side. He was quite solid in defence too. So I thought he, that first minute he could have scored a goal also. I thought he had a good game today, and I want to see more of that from him next week. Or this weekend, should I say. And then opposite side, I've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I've given him a 5.5 today. A little bit let down by him again. He's always that half second behind when it comes to his positioning, which allows crosses to come in, which means that he's always on the stretch trying to get to the ball. He's a great one-on-one defender, but his positioning lets him down. And I think he could be one of the best right backs in the league if he just had some good defensive awareness. I'll be honest with you. Great on the tackle, but it's normally a recovery tackle. And 9 times out of 10 it's because he's out of position. That's what it is. Maguire, 7 out of 10. I thought he played really well today again. Hats off to Harry Maguire. He's revived his Man United career. I think it would be foolish to sell him at the summer. At this stage, the way he's playing. Do I think we can play a high line with him in defence? No, I don't. Do I think we should get rid of him? No, I don't. I really don't. I think Varane will probably go. He's out of contract anyway. I think Varane will go. I would keep Maguire. You've got Martinez to come back. Probably sign another 2 centre-backs. You got Lindelof. All of a sudden, you've got 5 centre-backs there. And we've had so many centre-back issues this year that I would not leave us short in that position next year. Good goal, good header. Seemed a threat every time the ball's up in the air. Won all his aerial duels. I've seen a lot of positives from Maguire in the last couple of months, and I think that it needs to be acknowledged. Alongside him we had Casemiro. I've given him a 6.5. Looked dangerous with headers, everything crossed in. Looked a lot better than he did against Coventry today. Held his position better. Against Coventry, I think from the 60th minute onwards his legs were gone pretty much, but today it didn't seem that way. Maybe because it wasn't so much end to end and we controlled the game a little bit better, meant he wasn't as exposed towards the end of the game, or he had more legs at the end of the game, In front of him we had Kobe Mainoo, which I've given a 6.5. Similar to Casemiro, I thought he had a decent game. Good control of the game, had a few good dribbles, good passing, good switch of play, good covering at the back. He just needs to be doing his job at the moment. We don't need to put too much pressure on this kid. Alongside them we had Eriksen. Had some shots, put a good ball into Højlund. Kind of coasted the rest of the time. A couple good balls over the top, but he kind of coasted a little bit. But one thing I did notice, maybe I should be giving him a 6.5 for it, is he had the vision to put Højlund in a couple times with balls on the ground. And Højlund reacted better to those on the turn and sprinting into the ball rather than anything in the air. It's almost like anything in the air, he has a poor touch. On the ground, he's fine with it. It's easier to control at the end of the day. In front of them, I got Bruno, who I've given an 8 today. What can I say? He started looking dangerous when he started crossing the ball in early in the game. Probably from about just before half time, really got going after we went 1-0 down. Though, then he got the goal with a penalty, which good taken penalty. He took the 3-2 to give us the lead on the 80th minute with an absolute screamer of a goal from outside the box. And then he had a good assist to Højlund, which I think probably was his most important contribution today. Mainly because I think if we get Højlund firing, we can go on a good little run, get some form of momentum before the FA Cup final. We need anything that we can to give us any sort of edge for the final, because we are playing Manchester City, which is, quite frankly, the best team in Europe. Best team in the world, let's be honest. And that hurts to say as a United fan, but football-wise, I don't see many better than them. Even like Madrid that they played against and they lost to, But they played better than Madrid. I think Madrid had that mentality of, if we hold on, we'll hit them on the counter and we'll get a goal, which is, fair enough. And then they messed up the penalties, Garnacho on one wing, at the left wing, he plays a lot better at the left wing, I think, than right wing. I've given him a 6.5, and it may be a bit harsh, but he got into really good positions. Should have scored 1 or 2 goals today. I'm thinking of the one in the first half, early in the game, where he should have given us the lead, and he just dribbled past 2 players and just hit it right at the keeper. Just a little bit of awareness of, he rounded a player and smacked it, and the keeper, easy save. Bottom corner, switch it to the other side, make the keeper turn and move the other way. Just a bit of awareness on his finishing. And I think it's because he's dribbling with his head down, looking at the ball, whereas he should really just have a look at the keeper before he puts his head down. Not that I could tell him what to do at the end of the day. The guy is an absolute beast for his age. But I would like to see him a bit more clinical with his finishing. And then the over-the-top ball which Højlund controlled and sort of set him in for the one-on-one, he should be finishing that. Let's be honest. Apart from that, he did look dangerous throughout the game. So I thought he had a good game, so don't let the 6.5 fool you. But yeah, I want to see a bit more. Anthony, I've given him a 5 out of 10. Started well, first few minutes, and then sort of crashed, Didn't seem himself. Didn't seem like he was... didn't seem himself. Didn't seem a threat. I think that Anthony is a player that if a bid comes in the summer, you let go. We paid a lot of money for this guy. We should be looking to recruit anything that we can. And I say that disappointedly because I actually think potentially he's got a lot of potential. The thing that lets him down is his sprint speed, I think, and the fact that he's got no right foot. If the guy had a right foot, sprint speed wouldn't be that much of an issue because you could go either way. But the defenders in the Premier League are to a different ilk to everywhere else in Europe, and they have clocked on that if they force him to his right, he's no threat. And he's got that one move of going onto his left to try and take a shot. And that move isn't Mo Salah level, which is good enough that he gets past every player with it, So I would honestly probably be looking to cash in on him in the summer. I will say this, that I would have started Diallo in front of him. I think Diallo has a much higher ceiling than he does. I think Diallo gives more to the team than he does, and his pace is explosive. So that's what I would go with. And it's no surprise that after Diallo got subbed in, and we were 2-1 down, that we turned it around. It wasn't directly him, but at the end of the day, he had his part to play in that. Højlund up front, I've given him a 7 today. I thought much better in terms of holding the ball up and controlling balls played to him. I thought he was able to play with his back against the goal. Obviously, he loves playing running at a goalkeeper, running at defenders, but it was better today. And then good positioning for his goal, and I'm really happy he got his goal. And you could see the sort of weight being lifted off of him as he scored that, and just made life a lot easier for him. In terms of the subs today, we had Diallo, 55th minute. I maintain he should have started. McTominay, 64th minute. And I put here, not sure about this one. Because I thought Eriksen was doing okay until that point, and we know that McTominay can sort of disappear. But actually, didn't really have much of an impact on the game, but didn't have a detriment either. So, similar to Eriksen. So, it worked. We had, I'll go with Amrabat first for Mainu, 91st minute, and then Ethan Wheatley for Højlund in 91st minute for his debut. The kid looked like he had something about him. He chased balls, pushed people down, was willing to run, That's massive for us right now in terms of attitude. He was running after things. I would have loved to see him get on the ball and get a chance to take a shot. But from what I know about him, he scored a hat-trick against Liverpool under-18s, for example, when we battered them 9-1, I think it was. The kid has got a bright future ahead of him, whether it's at Old Trafford or somewhere else, I don't know yet. I'd want to see more of him. But the fact that Erik ten Hag gave him a chance and gave him his debut sort of is extremely promising. And the fact that he's bypassed a lot of the under-21 players and he's come to the first team before them, again, is very promising. The players that have done that this year have ended up being good players like, or even last year, Garnacho, players like Mainu, players like Willie, Kwambala, amongst others. And, I just think that the more youth we can promote right now, the better, so we can get rid of a bit of dead weight, and sort of then bring in some talent to sort of supplement the youth, and I think that's our way forward. That's the Old Trafford way. That's the Man United way. That's the way we've always done things. Class of '92, youth, players that were brought in around those players, or later on in those things. Darren Fletcher's, all these kind of players were young players coming from the youth system, and we just, not that we've forgotten about it, but a lot of the players that have been brought through either haven't been good enough, or we've just sold them off to make a bit of profit. I think of Ghana, a player that could easily be playing for us this year and would be getting minutes. Probably would be starting alongside Mainu, and that would be exciting to watch, let's be honest. But yeah, final score 4-2. Good win, a win that we needed desperately. 3 things that I got here for the next game is put your chances away. We were really wasteful in the first half, and we're lucky that Sheffield United are not a top team, and that's no disrespect to Sheffield United, but if this was City in the FA Cup final, City are going to score. If we get a chance like that, we need to put it into the back of the fucking net. We cannot afford to miss 5-6 chances before we get a goal. We've got to be more clinical. Individual errors at the back is the second thing. Again, Onana. If it's not Onana, it'll be, I don't know, Casemiro. If it's not Casemiro, it'll be Aaron Wan-Bissaka. If it's not, individual errors in our defence. Come on, guys. Simple, stupid, get the fuck out of there. And the third one is defensive awareness, and that's positioning, tracking your runners, your movement to make sure you're covering for other players if they're the ones stepping out to make the tackle or to stop across. It just seems to not be there at the moment, and it's something that we really need to work on moving forward. And in terms of my final thoughts is, we need to win every fucking game that we can. If we want, forget Champions League, if we want Europa League, we need to finish as high as we possibly can, because at the moment, if we don't, and we don't win the FA Cup, we'll be dropped down to the conference. Because, our smart and intelligent board have got a team that they own across the pond in lovely little France. And they are currently higher than us in the league. So we either need to get to the Champions League spot or we need to win that FA Cup, but let's finish us as high as we can in the league, just in case that team drops down a little bit. That's all I'm going to say. It's not over. Spurs have got Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea. I believe it's Burnley. I can't remember who the other team is that they have. But Arsenal, Liverpool, City, 3 games that they should drop points to. Hopefully all 9. And then if they can lose to Burnley or fight in the relegation battle, or they can lose to Chelsea, and we go on a run and we win all our games, we have a chance of catching up and getting a Champions League spot. And that would be the best thing that we can do right now. Just win our games. We've got Arsenal left. Chances are we're going to drop points against them, let's be honest. But if we could get points on the other games, we stand a chance. Outsider's chance. Not very realistic, but a chance nonetheless. 4-2. At least it was a good night of football. If nothing else, we're fucking entertaining for everybody else, I can tell you that much. Just like to stress us out before we get the win, right? Anyways, guys, it's been your boy Rob, Red Devils Disciples. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Big shout out to my boy Mac, who made those comments on the chat to help me out, just to see if it was working. Lot of love. Peace.